Welcome to Pure Dog Talks live at 5. How are you guys today? So great to have you all here. I am your host, Laura Reeves. While everybody's hopping on, I have a couple items for the good of the order. And today we've got some really exciting stuff. So I'm really hoping everybody can be here and join us. In case you haven't heard, in the last year, we launched the new exclusive perk for our patrons. That's the Pure Pep Talk. It's a weekly text message with an upbeat, fun, educational tidbit. A lot of times it's a link to an old archived podcast for you guys. You can sign up for the patrons group so that you can get your pep talk. Everybody needs a pep talk every week, right? You can get that for as little as, okay, I'm going to say $5 a month, and Natalie's going to yell at me again. But I'm saying, no matter what, it's less than a fancy coffee drink for a month. So, if you haven't submitted your request for the Pure Dog Talk Patrons badge, if you are a patron, put in your request for the badge. Check your email. Natalie sent those out a couple weeks ago. Always remember, the more support you give, the more access you get. So there's that. Our all access patrons group, for those of you who are not aware, is Amazeballs. We have judges and breeders and experts and exhibitors, enthusiasts, and everybody there has the same goal, you guys, right? Your passion, that's our purpose. So check it out on the website. Natalie will drop a link, puredogtalk.com/patron. Okay. Tonight, we are going to be talking about raising puppies. And so we have some pretty exciting items to go along with that. I'll be getting to that shortly. But before I do, you've all heard me talk on the podcast in the last month about our survey. Whole bunches of you joined the survey. If you haven't done it, go ahead and do so now. The contest piece of it is over, right? But the information gathering goes on. So, drum roll, please. We're at 3 minutes past the hour, so I assume everybody is here. We have a variety of winners for this. Everyone who participated in the survey will receive one Pure Pep Talk text message, hopefully tomorrow, barring anything strange and unforeseen. You will get your Pure Pep Talk. If you love it, and we really, of course, hope you do, then I believe that you should sign up for the patrons if you haven't already, so you can get it every week. And my goal is to make everybody smile, make everybody have joy, and learn a little something. So, with that said, the very first winner of the first item on our list for the survey contest, everyone who completed the survey, their name was entered in a drawing, and I did the drawing today. So the winner of the Pure Dog Talk wine tumbler, which is amazing, is Darcy Moss. Yay, Darcy. We have your email. You do not need to be present to win. We will shoot you an email and get your items shipped out as soon as possible for all of our winners. The next person on the list won a free download of the audiobook, Auntie Laura's Beginner's Guide to Show Dogs. It's a great resource. If it's not something that you find specifically useful, you can always share it with your puppy buyers, friends, family, what have you. And the winner of the free audiobook is, drumroll, Carissa Nielsen. Yay, Carissa. Okay, so the next thing we had in our free, we're building up to a year of free patron membership. So just everybody know that. The next thing we had on the list is a free Canine 911 first aid video. This is the video code that you'll get is for a free video of Marty Greer and I talking about what should be in your first aid kit. Fabulous video series. For those of you who have not checked it out, you can find it on the website. It's on Vimeo, Canine 911. And the winner of this particular video is Diane Richardson. Yay. Okay. So it's not nearly as cool as if I had a live studio audience. So I don't. So you guys are going to have to deal with it. I'm Natalie. Oh my God. You're amazing. Okay. That's what it means to have a real social media producer, you guys. I love it. So finally, the grand prize for the people who participated in this survey, as a thank you, all of these are thank yous from me to you guys, because I know it's a pain. I know it's obnoxious. And I know people are always up in your junk. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you. And so the grand prize in the drawing for people who participated in the survey is for one free year, a whole year of paid membership in our patrons group. And I cannot tell you how many times a day, daily, weekly, monthly, I hear from people who participate in this group that this group is the reason that they're still in dogs, or the reason that they're successful, or the reason that they bred their first litter, or whatever it is. This group of people is amazing. It's not just me. There's a couple hundred people in here, and that there's no keyboard warrior, no drama, the very, very few times things have gone a little bit sideways, they get cut down right now because we don't put up with that. So I love this group and I love the people in it. And I am happy to invite the grand prize winner, Madison Kirk, to join us for one free year of patron membership. All right, you guys, that concludes the business meeting part of our live at 5 tonight. And we can get on to the really important stuff. All right. And we're talking about raising our puppies. And it's the puppy time of year, right? Everybody's either had a litter or about to have a litter. If you haven't, you're gonna. And so I really think it's important that people be able to have some ideas, have some goals, have some things that they can aim for. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So one of the things that I have been trying to get accomplished for 2 years now is to put together our list, our what's in what Stacy and I call the Yaya Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants collection of whelping supplies. And this is something that we use, that we have shared with others, and it's what everybody should have in their own personal whelping kits. And we've got this broken down into absolute non-negotiables and some of the extras that we found useful in a variety of situations over the years. So Natalie will be dropping this in the comments, but this is the Pure Dog Talk whelping list. All right. And I want to go through each one of the pieces of this because I think each one of them is really, really important. And then we can follow that up with some early neurological stimulation and some other stuff that we can discuss. Okay. So the first thing on our list is a whelping box, right? I mean, this might seem a little obvo to people, right? You got to have a place to put your puppies. And your whelping box is 100% going to depend on what breed of dog you have and how many puppies you're expecting. And my whelping box for the pug litter is literally a 3x3 raised pen that I put the mom in with the puppies every hour or two. That's one thing. For my litter of 14 German wire-haired pointers, that's not going to cut it. I know people, um, in recent years, people have decried the use of the swimming pool as a terrible backyard breeder thing. I frankly don't agree with that. It's cheap, it's easy, it's 100% able to be disinfected. It gives, so you don't actually need pig rails. I have never, ever, ever had a bitch lay on a puppy and kill it in a one of the plastic kitty wading pools that we use. I can buy them at Walmart for $10 a whack, even in December. If you want to spend the big dollars and get a Joan Art or any one of the various and sundry super fabulous, gorgeous Whelping Box systems that exist, you more power to you. I'm not going to tell you not to. All I'm going to say is that your Whelping Box needs to have sufficient room for your bitch to be able to be away from the heat source, but still close enough for the puppies to get to her. It is going to depend, as I said, how large is your female, how large is your litter. That will depend how large your box is. For this first couple weeks, everybody's going to be in the box. And in some breeds, it's going to be a lot longer than that. But you need to also then prepare to have a system whereby the mom can leave the box, leave the puppies, and go back and forth so that she can nurse them, but still have some time to get away from them, all those sort of things. So a lot of thought needs to be put into your Whelping Box. Number one priority for your Whelping Box, in addition to the size, is the ability to disinfect it. All right. So I know there are people who have homemade Whelping boxes using plywood and 2x4 and all the rest of it. In and of itself, that's not a horrendous thing. The only thing that I'm going to tell you with that is that you, number one, must seal the wood. Because if you use that Whelping Box multiple series of litters, you have the ability to have contagions that you cannot disinfect from raw wood. You need to seal that. If you're going to use a wooden sort of homemade box, strongly recommend that you look at materials that include the type of wood that you would make like a kitchen counter out of. I can't remember the name of it, but you know what I'm saying. Solid, coated over a top of maybe a plywood or something like that. Do not use an unsealed wooden box. You will keep bugs in there that will not be good. Okay, so that's number one. And number two, size, the ability to disinfect. Three then is the ability at some point for the bitch to leave. If you are not using a swimming pool, if you are using a hard-sided box, you must have what we call pig rails. So those are about 2 inches wide, and they stick out about 2 inches above the floor for about 2 inches out into the center. And it's a place where puppies can get kind of shoved so that mom doesn't lie down on top of them and squish them. Some bitches are great. Yes, thank you, Stacy. Laminated wood, the type of thing that you'd use in shelving or kitchen counters or something like that. Pig rails will help keep your bitch from stepping on or lying on her puppies. So that's super important. Next up is our strong recommendation that wherever you are placing your Whelping Box, first of all, keep in mind that your Whelping Box should not be in a high traffic area, particularly for the actual whelping. Bitches do not want to have their puppies with an audience of 20. I mean, really, they just don't. They would like to be in a dark, cave-like environment. Lay a sheet over the top of X pens around the Whelping Box, put it in a corner, put it in a separate room, make sure that the room itself, the ambient temperature of the room itself should be about 70 degrees. The Whelping Box, in where the actual puppies are, needs to be at least 90 degrees. Puppies cannot maintain their body temperature for minimum the first 2 weeks. They have to have a way to go to a warm spot and away from the warm spot. Mom is close enough to warm enough, but she isn't always there. So they have to have a place that they can go and room to go in and out. That's why enough room in your whelping box is so important. Puppies are like heat-seeking missiles. They will find the heat or find away from the heat. They will find the food or away from the food. That's about the sum total of their abilities for the first 10 days. Find heat, find cool, find mom, go to sleep. That's what they do. Okay? They're potatoes. So we have found one thing to be super effective is you go to any like hardware store, whatever you have in your area, find a piece of linoleum, cheap garbage linoleum, cut to the dimensions of what will be your puppy area so that you can protect your floors. I used tarps for a lot of years. They're terrible. They get torn up. They may be cheaper, but they're not a great solution. The linoleum is an amazing solution. You keep it rolled up, you lay it out when it's time to get your puppy whelping area ready. Okay? Lay your linoleum down, put your whelping box on top of that. Make sure that your linoleum is large enough that it has got room for the whelping box and an additional area where the puppies will be able to go out and potty when they get older, where they're still in their area, but away from their sleeping area, right? Okay. The next thing that you're going to want to have in your whelping list is whelping mats. We love the Easy Whelp mats. Okay, so the biggest and most important thing that recent research has shown us is that baby puppies from birth, from literally 12 hours, 2 hours, however many hours, they need traction. And so it can be a challenge, and you're going to do a lot of laundry for those first few puppies as mom's whelping out the litter of, oh my God, 14 puppies, right? But you've got to have traction underneath those nursing puppies. So the whelping mats are great. They'll absorb a lot of moisture. They'll pull it away from the puppies, and they'll still give them traction. Incontinence pads are something that we use underneath something with more traction to help absorb moisture, right? So these are the same type of things that people have in hospital beds. I mean, they're you can buy them by a 2 dozen pack on Amazon. One of our goals for the whelping list is to be able to provide you with actual links with affiliate links. We just didn't get that done before today, but we did get the list. So I'm saying, okay, towels. We've written here tea towels, but basically small hand towels that as the puppy is whelped, as that puppy comes out in a gush of afterbirth and goo, you can grab it with a dry towel. And you can take that puppy, break the sack, get the puppy dried off, clamp off the umbilical cord, get the lungs cleared, get the nose cleared, do all of those things. And that's what those tea towels are for. You're going to need 6 times the number of puppies that you expect. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I know you think I'm crazy, but our stack of whelping towels is like huge. So I'm saying a digital thermometer. Okay, so we know that we want the temperature of the room to be about 70, but we need the area where the puppies are to be much warmer than that. So we want to have a thermometer that goes there. We also want to be able to take a puppy's temperature or mom's temperature, whatever. So we're going to have different types of thermometers. We're going to have a dog thermometer. We're going to have a thermometer to test the air temperature. Knowing the temperature is absolutely vital. If you've listened to any of the podcasts that we've done with Dr. Marty Greer, any of the other people that we've talked to over the years, keeping puppies warm and dry, warm, dry, and hydrated. Those are the 3 things that will keep puppies alive. They don't necessarily have to nurse. They don't have to do this. They don't have to do that. They have to be warm enough, and they have to be dry, and they have to be hydrated. Okay. Larissa asks if the temperature is modified at all for northern breeds. I keep the room temperature a little bit lower for those moms. I make sure that they have a way to be away from, right, the heating pads that or whelping nests that we use for the puppies. But no matter what, those puppies still cannot maintain their own body temperature. And northern breeds or anybody else, those puppies have got to be at 90 plus degrees. Average dog temperature is 101.2. If your puppy gets below 90 degrees, it will freeze to death and it will die. So you have got to have a place that those puppies can be warm enough, whether it's up against mom, and then a heating pad. It doesn't matter if it's a northern breed or not. I do make allowances for a lot of bitches that don't like to be hot. Keep your room temperature, maybe it's down to 68, but so long as the temperature in the box where the puppies actually physically are is warm enough to keep their body temperature stabilized, then it should be okay. Vet fleece, Stacy added another super amazing thing included in your whelping mats, your incontinence pads, all of that. So then heating pads. Here's another one. This is a big thing. Okay, so first I have to tell you a story because you guys know I can't not tell you a story. My family's been breeding dogs for a super, 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 super long time, and we didn't know a lot of these things. And so my mother, God rest her soul, until the day she died, until the very last litter she had, she was also super, super, super economical. We'll just call it that. And so her puppy whelping bedding was dog food bags that she'd cut down the middle in case she could peel off layers of them. It doesn't apply to what we think of today, the Purina bags. They're all plastic, but she was accustomed to paper, layers of paper bags, right? And instead of newspaper, she used cut up dog food bags. And that type of newspaper, cardboard, paper bags, any of those things absolutely are devastating your puppy's health and well-being as they grow up. We have research, we have science on this. They must have traction. Please, 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 please use towels, use something other than newspaper, even in the whelping phase. Okay. Jill writes that you need 3 to 4 times more puppy pads than you think you need. Lesson learned. 100%. 100%. It says Stacy and I were putting this list together, and she said towels, and I said 10 times more towels, because you will go through all the towels you had and all the towels you thought you had and all your people towels, and you're like, oh my God, I still need more towels, right? Towels. Go to the Goodwill, spend $5 for a bundle of crappy towels. Doesn't matter. You're going to wash the hell out of them and throw them away, right? Don't spend $1 billion on towels, but use towels as bedding. Make sure that the puppies cannot get stuck underneath the towels. Be careful about the bedding. As the puppies are newborns and as they get older, be careful that they cannot get stuck underneath or in and amongst that bedding, and mom doesn't see them when she goes to lay down. I know everybody does not have the luxury that I have created for myself in whelping my litters. I never had to leave when my litters were infants. I refused. I set up my life in such a way that I only bred bitches when I knew I was going to be home for essentially the full, at least the first 4 weeks. And for the first 3 weeks, I barely bathe. I know it's a little frightening, but that's a fact. I spend all my time with my puppies. I watch them like hawks. I do not give them the opportunity to have a problem. Now, I'm going to say not everybody can do that. I recognize and understand that. But what I am going to say is make sure that as you lay out your bedding in the whelping box for the puppies with mom, whether you're there or not, that they are smooth, they are laid out flat, that there's really nothing that encourages the puppies to get stuck under some of the bedding, because that's when you can have a problem with mom laying on somebody. Yep, John Home Depot painter's rags. They're not as much traction as I would like, but they're better than nothing, and they're great for the rubbing dry, 100%. Um, yeah, 16 washable incontinence pads. I'm not entirely sure it's only 16, Stacey. I think it's probably 20. But I'm saying, heating pads. So we're back to some of the things that we used to do that we don't do anymore. Heat lamps used to be a thing. When I was a kid, all the litters we raised, most of the first half of the litters that I raised, we had heat lamps, and you put an X pen around the whelping box, you clamped the heat lamp to the top and shone it down on the puppies. And I think the thing that is important to understand is that there have been innumerable house fires, kennel fires, all the kind of things that can happen when a bitch pulls a heat lamp down. There can be a lot of tragedy that goes with that, number one. Number two, it doesn't provide as good an opportunity for the mom to get away from the puppies as we would like. And number three, it is dehydrating them. That the heat lamp heats up the air around the puppy, and it's dehydrating. So our goal is that these puppies are hydrated, not dehydrated. And so we use either heating pads covered up, right, and with the cords way away from mom, or the whelping nest. If you have a bitch that's able to chew, or you're not going to be able to supervise what's going on, they make the hard plastic whelping nests that are a heating unit covered in hard plastic with a metal coil around the cord that you take and you run through the X pen away from the whelping box, so that mom can't chew on that, so that there can be no electrocution concerns or fire concerns or all of those things. And you set one half of your whelping box to puppies, right? Extra bedding, that's where the heating pads are. And you set the other side of your whelping box to not puppies, where mom can go lie down when she needs a break, if she's too hot, what have you. And if the puppies go to her side of the box, they have her body temperature, right? So think about wild dogs. Think about dogs in a den, right? The only thing that keeps them warm enough is mom. And so we have that potential for our bitches, as long as we keep our ambient temperature at a reasonable level, as long as we keep a space of the whelping box that does not have underlying heating elements, then generally speaking, this is going to be the way that we have found to be the most successful for this. Okay. Now, another trick, I always had, like, literally the produce scale that I got from my mom. It probably dated to 1968 when I was born. Truly, that was what I weighed my puppies on for decades. I'd put a box on top of that and the puppy in that, and it was quite a production. Stacy actually is the one who introduced me to the concept of a luggage scale. Oh my God, genius. You pick the bag up with the puppy in it, and it tells you how much the puppy weighs. What? Wait, what? Yeah. Amazing. You can use a special cotton bag. I've used, not going to lie to you, I use grocery bags. I mean, whatever you got on hand. But you put the puppy in a bag of some shape, form, or fashion. You weigh it on the luggage scale, and you can weigh your puppies, which I'm going to make a note now. Weigh your puppies every day. For the first, I do about 10 days, as long as everybody's gaining. I don't weigh them daily after that. If you have a toy breed or a litter that's struggling, or any of those types of things, weigh your puppies twice a day, morning and evening. You have got to know that those puppies are gaining weight, and the only way you're going to know that is if you weigh them. I know you think you can tell, oh no, its ribs are showing, oh no, I can't see its ribs. No, weigh the puppy. I promise you. Been doing this a very long time. Puppies can get going sideways, and the only way you're going to know is if you're paying attention to the weights. give them more food, give them less food if they're gaining too much. I mean, there's a high class problem. You know, give somebody extra time on the nipple or a head start, or pull everybody, all the big ones off and put the little one on, whatever it is. You can manage that, but only if you know how much they weigh and if they're gaining or not gaining and how much they're gaining and how much they're gaining in relation to the rest of the puppies. Weigh your puppies every day. Okay. Stacy says small trash can. I think that's funny. Giant trash can, many liners. Having puppies is messy. I don't care how good your mama dog is. Having puppies is gross and messy. And there's going to be a lot of gross things that you need to throw away. And so you should have a big trash can, not a small trash can. Maybe you want to start with a small one and move to a big one. I don't care. And yes, I weigh them exactly at birth or as very close as I can get to at birth. After they've eaten doesn't do me any good. I want to know what they are at birth. So my process is puppy comes out, I pull them, I break the sac, we suction, we get everything cleaned out, we get them breathing and screaming, we've clamped the cord, we've dried and dried and dried and dried and dried. Before they go on to nurse with mom, they go on the scale. That's my process. Everybody has a system. That's a system that works for me. So for what it's worth. Okay, a laundry basket. You can just throw stuff in the corner, but I promise you a laundry basket will make your life easier because then you don't have to gather all that gross stuff up in your arms to take it to the laundry. I will tell you, I am, not just today years old, but only a few years less than today years old when I finally managed to acquire a laundry system for dog laundry that wasn't for people laundry. I spent an awful lot of years washing gross dog stuff in the same machines that I wash my clothes in, because I'm going to tell you, when you're whelping puppies, you ain't got time to be running to a laundromat. That's not a thing. So in the wonderful scheme of things for you to aim for as a grown-up dog person, I am a grown-up dog person when I have a separate washer and dryer for my dog laundry. I'm just going to tell you, and that took me until I was pretty close to 50. So I'm saying, paper towels, 100 billion rolls of paper towels, hand sanitizer, all the stuff. I mentioned the thermometers. So write a thermometer, take mom's temperature, take puppy's temperature if you've got a problem. Indoor, outdoor thermometer, so that you can put something down by where the heating pads are, so you know what the temperature actually is in the box, separate from whatever you have the thermostat set to for the ambient temperature in the room. Lots and lots and lots and lots of towels. I mentioned that. Go to Goodwill, get a bunch of towels. Now, the Deely suction catheter with a mucus trap. I'm going to tell you again, I am very old school. I've been doing this a very long time. I go all the way back to the shake the puppy, don't shake the puppy. Do not swing the puppy. I've been re-educated. I've been to re-education school. Do not swing the puppy to clear the lungs. Okay. The shaken baby thing that goes on with that. We don't do that anymore. The bulb syringes that we used, that we found in complete in years past, all of that has been replaced by this Deely suction catheter. If you have not actually seen this in use, you must find it. I personally can't use it. I make Stacy or somebody else do it because I'll throw up. But basically, you have two tubes, one in your mouth, one in the puppy's mouth. You suck. It sucks the stuff out of the puppy's lungs, and it goes into this trap. It doesn't actually go into your mouth, but I can't convince myself of that, so I can't use it. But it is amazing. Okay. Cindy Wright asks about seed mats. Seed mats are something I know a lot of people have used for traction in the whelping boxes. Haven't used them. I've heard great things about them. A food weigh scale works, Katrina, 100%. Anything that you can get an accurate measurement and 2 small ounces, right? So my puppies are born anywhere from 14 to 16 ounces, But if you're talking about toy breeds or some of the smaller breeds, you can be talking about a puppy that's 2 ounces or 3 ounces or 4 ounces. So you need something that weighs really light. Okay. So that answers questions. Oh, Larissa, do tell. Find me a link and drop it here because I need to know about that. Larissa says there's an automatic delete catheter. All right. So now the next thing you need to have on this list that we're talking about, dull scissors. It's important that if we're going to manage the puppies instead of mom. Now, some of you people are going to let mom do all the umbilical cord and clean the placenta and do all that stuff. We don't do that. We do that ourselves. We pull the puppy, we get the placenta, we get the sac off, we cut the cords, we get puppy clean before it goes to mom, clean and dry as best we can before it goes to mom. So if that's going to be your process, dull scissors. Please do not use sharp scissors on your umbilical cords. When mom cuts it, that's not a sharp scissor, right? That's like a tearing motion. So I use super dull scissors. And then I personally keep one of the mosquito hemostats, right? The clamps that you see in surgery that you can clamp the handle and it stays and it will staunch the blood flow. Other people that I know use dental floss to tie off the stump. Whatever it is that's going to be your process, know what it is, be prepared for it, have all the stuff handy. Make sure that as we're talking about cleaning umbilical stumps, have chlorhexidine is my personal favorite. Some people use iodine. You need to spray or dip the end of the umbilical cord in a disinfectant. Make sure that that's going to stay clean so you don't get any infection going up through the umbilicus. Keep Vaseline, KY jelly, any kind of lubricant, have surgical gloves. If you've got a stuck puppy and you've got to get up in there and help the puppy out, you're going to be a lot happier if you've got some lubricant and some gloves. I can tell you the story. The last litter of wire hair pointers that we actually whelped here was 13, and 2 of them were very stuck. It was in the middle of the pandemic. It took a billion hours. She started at like 8 o'clock in the morning and went until about 1 o'clock the following morning. And my friend and dearly beloved friend Rachel, who is a vet tech, was up to her elbow, I swear to you, in this poor dog trying to get these dogs unstuck. So lubricant, gloves, all the things that you can do will make everybody's life happier. Puppy collars, if you're going to use them. Wire hair pointers, we have identifiable spots at birth. I've never used puppy collars. Mom used either magic marker or fingernail polish to mark the labs and the Clumber Spaniels. So I had never used puppy collars until the Spinoni. I still find them annoying, but you have to have a way to identify the puppies if you don't have good markings. So choose your solution, choose the way you're going to go and stick with it. Yeah. And anything Chlorhex is amazing. I use it on everything from ears to teeth to cleaning up mom to cleaning up puppies to I haven't seen the lube, but that sounds amazing as well. Sorry. Okay. So the other thing that you're going to need is what I think of as sort of like a baby incubator, right? So I've used everything from an extra laundry basket to a cardboard box, right? To anything so that you have a containment for the puppies. Because if you're going to have more than a couple, mom is going to be working to push out a puppy and you need to move the ones that have been whelped already out of the way so she doesn't accidentally squish somebody while she's working on another puppy. And so when I see a bitch start to work on a new puppy, I pull the 3, 6, 10, however many are there, put them in their own little incubator box. It has a heating pad on low on the bottom, and then a couple layers of towels. And then I put another towel draped over the top of whatever the container is. Like I said, cardboard box, laundry basket, whatever you have. Half a crate works, anything like that. And that way the puppies can be safe while you're either whelping new puppies, cleaning the box, taking mom for a walk, whatever it is. Again, Stacy loves a headlamp. everybody loves a good headlamp, right? It is such an actual fashion statement, I'm saying. But it if you have a bitch that's whelping and it's dark, it's nighttime out, and she's going to want to go out and go potty, she may very well pass a puppy while she's out doing her business. And if it's dark out, you have to be able to see what's actually going on. Your bitches should only be walked on leash while they're in the whelping process. Don't just turn them loose, because if they have a puppy out there, you're not going to know. Walk them on a leash, have a headlamp, have a lantern, have a flashlight, have a whatever. Take a towel with you every time you go out. We had a Spinoni puppy in one of our litters that was whelped outside and came in with a leaf stuck on her head. I can't remember what her name was. I can remember my mom whelping a litter of wire hairs, and she was absolutely insistent that the puppy that was whelped outside walked back to the house after his mom's. It's a thing. So calcium is so incredibly important. Absolutely, unbelievably critical. Listen to me. No calcium. Zero. No food that contains calcium. No calcium before the first puppy is whelped. After the first puppy, push the calcium. I don't know that there is such a thing as an overdose on calcium, truly, in the middle of this situation. We use CalSorb, similar type of thing. If we're whelping 10 puppies, we can go through 4 or 5 tubes of the CalSorb. After the first puppy whelps and over the first anywhere from 7 to 10 days, honestly, you can use calcium in a tube. We have used and had great results with, it's called Viactive calcium chews. They really like the caramel flavor. Whatever. And they think of them, they're like candy, like dog treats. Autumn, that was her name. Have some Pedialyte on hand for the mom, right? Because she's working hard. She maybe isn't going to want to drink much. You may have to syringe it. You know how to syringe fluids into your dog? If you don't, you need to. There's a little pouch, right? Pull the pouch to the side. You can put syringe liquid into the pouch and it will go down their throat without choking them. If you syringe liquid straight down their throat, they'll choke on it. So pull out the pouch on the side of the dog's mouth, syringe into the side of the mouth. Okay, we're getting pushy here. Some extra things that people should have on hand. Fresh frozen plasma, FFP. I went through the litter from hell a few years ago. I mean, from hell. Nobody counts on having the litter from hell. I did. I had a bitch that ate a toy. She had to have blockage surgery and a 2 days premature C-section at the same time. She never, by the time she was functional enough, the puppies were too old. She wouldn't accept them. I hand raised, bottle raised a litter. Started out as 8. We lost a couple of our hair pointers, and the fresh frozen plasma literally saved their lives, because we honestly couldn't even get colostrum in most of these puppies. So fresh frozen plasma, you can buy it from Gene Dodds. You can have your vet draw blood on dogs and spin it down for you. There's lots and lots of ways you can do this, but have fresh frozen plasma in test tubes in your freezer. Just do it. It is the difference, quite literally, between life and death. It can be given orally in the first 12 hours. Stacy, correct me if I'm wrong. It can also be given subcutaneously up to, I believe, another 36 hours after that, maybe 48. I don't quite remember. Mother's milk replacement. So have some, whatever, if you want Godelac or Esbalac or whatever you want to have some good milk replacer on hand in case of emergency. Big syringes, right? The big round honking ones, so that you can syringe Pedialyte or water, whatever you need. I also will sometimes use low sodium broth, like chicken broth that has a little bit of protein to it. Keep a small gauge needle on a syringe, and there is an acupuncture point right here, right at the base of the puppy's nose, right where the nose, right where that line is, right at the base, right there in the cartilage. That is an acupuncture point that will make a puppy take a breath if they're not breathing. We've had that be successful. Keep a feeding tube kit on hand. If you don't know how to use a feeding tube, learn how to use a feeding tube, because just when you think you're never going to need it, you might need it. Bottles. We have a million baby bottles, different nipples. If you've got a large litter, you may have to supplement, or you could have a situation like I had where I had to bottle feed every puppy. I've had other litters. My very, very, very first litter that I had, the bitch had to have a C-section. She had 11 puppies, and she never really got milk. And so I had to supplement all 11 puppies, and I didn't sleep for 72 hours. I was a lot younger then. I'm too old for that now. Oh, good. Okay, so there's a YouTube tutorial. There's a couple of them. Dr. Greer's got an amazing tutorial on Revival's channel. You can always also check that out. The other thing that I would say, if you have not learned how to give sub-Q fluids yet, you need to learn. Have your vet teach you. It's not very difficult. It's just like giving a vaccine. You need to have a large gauge needle. You need to have a sterile bag of saline. And you need to know how to give your puppies sub-Q fluids. If you have a puppy that's starting to fade, if it has gotten chilled, if it has gotten dehydrated, you can absolutely, and I have done it more times than I would like to discuss, you can absolutely save its life with sub-Q fluids and the ability to give them. Learn how to give them, how much to give them. Have your vet teach you. It is life-saving technology. Always have one of those on hand. I always do. Spectogard is actually sold and labeled for pig scours. It's this pink, red, gross stuff. During that litter I was just telling you guys about that was multiple of them trying to die on me, my friend Karen Ostman, who breeds very famous Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, suggested it to me that many times fading puppies, it's a gut disconnect basically, and that they can't handle antibiotics, but this treats whatever bugs are actually in the gut. And Spectogard, again, has saved a number of puppy lives for me. Have it on hand. If you're looking for dosage information, I can give it to you. It is absolutely off label. If you have any questions about it, ask your veterinarian. I am not a veterinarian, and I do not play one on television. Amoxicillin, amoxi drops for your puppies. If you've got a problem, again, be in contact with your veterinarian. Make sure that they're comfortable prescribing this to you. But if you've got a problem, having them on hand in advance makes life a lot easier. Oxytocin. Again, your veterinarian may or may not be willing to prescribe this to you. I've had very good success using this to clean out any leftover afterbirths. I thought I had all of the, I thought I had all but one of the puppies in my litter of 13. I thought I had all but one of them because there was only supposed to be 11. So I gave her an oxytocin shot, and bing, 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 there were 3 more. But it is a very useful thing. You must never use oxytocin if you do not know the position of the puppies. You can rupture the uterus. Must be used carefully and cautiously and under the advice of your veterinarian. P.S. May I recommend, once again, I am not a veterinarian. Stacy's put up the puppy replacement formula. It's there on the links. I'm not going to actually go through that whole thing. And I'll let you download that for yourselves. And Stacy makes a special request for a discussion of mastitis. There are multiple podcasts on this topic. Please, I encourage you, go do a keyword search on the website, puredogtalk.com. Keyword search, mastitis. Up they will come. And they will be smart, informative, knowledgeable information from Dr. Greer. And you need to know about it. If you have, always keep an eye on your puppies, make sure that their toenails are clipped. Clip the puppy's toenails from day 2 on, at minimum the front feet. Every puppy, every other or every third day. Mastitis is typically caused when you get a bacterial infection that can be caused by the puppies clawing and nursing, and then poopy and goopy, and bada bing, bada boom, we have mastitis. Keep your puppy's toenails clipped. Dr. Greer will rabidly advocate against feeding raw to nursing mothers. So there's a thing. Yep. Toenail clippers, people toenail clippers, or cat toenail clippers, whatever you can use. I've used people toenail clippers for 40 flipping years, but trim your puppy's toenails. Listen to the episode with Dr. Greer regarding feeding raw to nursing mothers and the complications that can go with that. Pay attention to your bitch if she's off her food. If she has a hot breast quarter, catch it soon. Make sure that you're on top of it. Get her medication. Make sure that you know what's going on. You can lose your bitch. You can lose parts of her mammary glands, and you can make an unholy, god-awful mess if you don't pay attention to it. So pay attention, watch for mastitis, and look for hot, hard breast quarters. Lots of people swear by frozen cabbage leaves. I'm a big fan of antibiotics myself and trimming your dog's toenails. Okay, so that's the bulk of it. We've got a few more minutes. If anybody has questions, drop them here in the chat. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're going to do from day 3, starting on day 3 up through day about, 10 days, day 13, day 14. So early neurological stimulation, I think probably everyone here knows about this. If you don't, go back, do a keyword search, listen to the podcast. There's a great one with Gail Watkins. There's a great one with Dr. Carmen Battaglia. There's one with Jane Killian. There's a lot of podcasts that cover this topic. The basic concept is that starting at 3 days of age, we expose our puppies to teeny tiny minor stressors that, as we expose them over the course of 10 days, every single day, to these teeny tiny minor stressors, it makes them more able to cope with stress as adult dogs. And I can speak to this. I have been doing this since my very first litter. Some of my earliest mentors in dogs were Dick and Dee Hanna. And Dick had been a canine handler in World War II. And this was the process that they used there. Hi, Marty. Yay. Thank you so much. I knew you could help. And so early neurological stimulation starts at day 3. And we trim the toenails, we weigh the puppies. And this is all part of about a half an hour, 45-minute, however long, however many puppies you have, process that we do. And you hold the puppy upright, head up in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you hold the puppy upside down. Support the puppy, obviously. Don't leave it strangled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Head down. And they're going to fight you on that because that feels weird. And that's okay. They're allowed to fight about it. We're not correcting them. We're simply doing these small, tiny stressors. Then you're going to hold them upside down on their back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Head up, head down, upside down. And then you're going to place them on a different, typically cold, typically rough, typically damp, whatever, uncomfortable, unpleasant surface. You're going to put them on that surface, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pick them up, kiss them, put them back in the box. And so this process goes for every puppy every day from day 3 through about 2 weeks. Okay. And that's the puppies potatoes stage, right? And they start turning into puppies about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, their eyes start to open. And there's a whole nother process as their eyes and their ears open at around 14 days. We add in, okay, so now we've done these small stressors, the tactile piece, right? The ENS, early neurological stimulation. Then we start adding in sound stressors. Okay. We play our puppies. We have bird dogs, right? So we play them loud recordings of gunfire, duck hunts. I bang the metal pans on the X pens. I play loud rock music. I play ambulances. I do all kinds of things. I want the puppies to associate loud or startling or uncomfortable noises with a positive thing. And we start that literally at 2 weeks old. Okay. So I'm about to give them their food, or I'm giving them their food, and they're getting all these loud noises. So the anticipation of this, yes, NAIA, this is a great, you guys that can make it. I can't do this and I'm so depressed. Dr. Carmen Battaglia is doing a discussion on this early neurological stimulation in the podcast. The interview I have with him is on super dogs. So you can keyword search super dogs or Carmen Battaglia. But the NAIA annual meeting is May 26th and 27th in Portland. Everybody go. I'm judging. I can't go. So like 10 more of you have to go for me and tell me all about it. Okay. So I'm very excited about that. Marty, I know will be there. You guys will have an opportunity to see Marty there. Carmen Battaglia will be there. Patty Strand will be there. Anyone who has never attended an NAIA annual meeting absolutely should make a point of it. I know it's Memorial Day. I know y'all want to go camping. Spend a day, you guys. Invest it in the future of our purebred dogs. And that's really not a joke. Sorry, I have a little bit of the crud. Okay, 3 minutes left. Anybody? Bueller? Anybody out there? Anybody got anything for me for the good of the order? All right. So, I'd say at this point, check out all of the items that are available for you. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Natalie, drop the albums. Oh, this is what I try and do when I try and do too many things. In closing, the most exciting thing that I have done for you guys in like ages. I have been promising this and I finally got this done. Albums. So we know that there's 575 flippin' podcasts and nobody can ever find anything they want. And so I have done all the work for you and I have organized all of these episodes into different albums for you guys. And at the low introductory price to pay for my time and effort, you guys can go find for $1.99 all of the episodes on this exact topic. The album is Breeding and Whelping Hands On. You can find episodes on events and sports, episodes on Love the Breeds, every single one of the breed specific episodes. Give that as a present to your friends and family looking for a dog. An episode that's all of our interviews specifically with owner handlers. If you need a little pick me up. There is an album called Pure Dog Talk University on dog breeding. That's more of the theory stuff. And P.S. that's going to be another project down the road is the university course process, but just bear with me. That's still coming. There's an album on the interviews, all the famous and amazing people that we've talked to over the course of the last 6 years. There's an album on Up Your Game, how to be more successful in the show ring. And there was an entire album, Marty, dedicated to veterinary voices. All of the interviews in the last 5 or 6 years that I've done with Dr. Marty Greer, temporary low introductory price, $1.99. Seriously, I spent all of my time to go and put these things into groups for you. Please go buy them. Tell your friends. It's an amazing, amazing thing. I will be doing more albums as we go forward. If you have a specific topic, yes, Marty, seriously, there's an entire album for $1.99 of every single one of all of the interviews you and I have done. Seriously, it is an absolute freaking steal. So if anybody else has an idea for an album that you would like to have, drop me a line. Shout out. All right. I managed to sneak that in the last 2 minutes. I can't believe that was supposed to be in part of the beginning of the podcast. So thank you guys. As always, thank you so much for joining us. We absolutely love you. We love having you here, and we are so thrilled that you are part of our Pure Dog Talk family. Have a great night.